And we're live. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's 2:30 p.m. You're watching Donny on the Innovation Fika, his innovation coffee break that he does every Wednesday. He being me. I won't talk about myself in third person. That sounded really weird. Anyway, short version about me. As you all might know, my name is Donny. I work as an innovation strategist and a business coach here at KTH Innovation, Stockholm, Sweden, Sweden's largest and of course best university. Every Wednesday I go live with my Innovation Fika, my innovation coffee break, when I get to I talk about a cool idea. I most often get to speak to really cool people, and sometimes also we have some really cool tech as well. So, but we always have cool people and great ideas, of course. When it comes to me, make sure to follow me on the different social media channels. I post daily, Monday to Friday, on LinkedIn and Instagram. Every week has a content theme. And then, of course, on the Wednesday, I go live with my Innovation Fika, my coffee break at 2:30 p.m. Swedish every Wednesday. Also connected to the content theme. This week's content theme is AI. So all of my posts are about artificial intelligence somehow. And the guest as well is connected to that. If you want to know more about what's going on, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. You go to innovationfika.com, and then you get to a form where you fill in your email address. If you're in Sweden, you can also text on your mobile phone, text Fika to 71140. Super simple. Anyway, enough about me, enough about that. I just want to make sure that everybody online, as you get online, make sure to post your comments and questions in the comments below, so we get lots of interaction during the show. That's about it. That's it. Let's go. Here we go. Wednesday. Now, for my special guest this week on the topic of AI and all the craziness that we might or might not see, we have backstage Futurist, public speaker, and super smart, of course. All of my guests are super smart. Liselott Lading.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks.
Welcome to the studio, or welcome into the online cloud studio.
Yes.
So happy you could join me here on this Wednesday afternoon. I've got my coffee. Have you got your coffee there? I think yes.
I have my coffee here.
Wonderful. So cheers. This week's content theme is AI. We'll be having a chat about that, but let's talk about you very, very briefly first. Liselott, if I just say, who are you? I mean, everybody knows that, but I mean, how would you describe yourself?
So you mean for the 9.99999 million Swedish people that don't know who I am? Okay. In that respect, I am the computer scientist that after a few years decided to be a co-owner and the CEO of an online agency called Resultify. And after that little journey of 5 years, I joined a global tech company. It's called Access Communications, who work with CCTVs.
Yeah.
And on that, like last 5 years or so, we have been discussing tech and ethics, amongst others, together with the people that are producing the CCTVs that are in our society all the time. And now for just, another day or two, I'm still at Access, but then I have left the company because I'm moving on into the world as a consultant. So I'm going to be helping companies with all of the questions that are relating to IT and business.
Yep. And of course, everybody online here, you can go to lading.se and read more about that. So you go there, and you can also, I think you actually have some recorded videos as well on that. So you can see a bit more of what Lading talks about when she's trying to speak without me getting in the way. That is, usually the audience on these shows, they sort of write to me in the chat, Donny, shut up. We want to hear what the guest has to say. So I'll jump straight in. But you actually said something interesting there that immediately spurs my first question, because this week is all about artificial intelligence and the machines. And on the Monday, 2 days ago, I moderated the TEDx KTH Saloon event of AI. How autonomous should it be? And one thing that came up when we were, because we were talking about the people's fears and also what they thought was the greatest positives. But when it came to fears, it was this, the whole surveillance thing, and the machine watching us, but you've been working with actual surveillance cameras for 4 years, and you must have, as you said yourself, the ethics question must have been huge when it came to what was the way you were? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first, that it is, of course, like a real question. It's nothing that we should just say that, just wave it away. It's a real question, and it has so much of a cultural context, right? So the way that we handled the question is that we got everyone involved into the discussion, because the people that are producing the hardware and the software, they are mainly sitting in Sweden. And Sweden is located in a little corner of the world called the Nordics. And here we have democracy. So we expect everyone to use our, we're used of people being, reasonably fair, or that there is a social system that works reasonably well, etc. But that's not the case, of course, in the rest of the world. So when you sell to the 279 countries that all global companies sell to, you immediately must realize that your products and your software is now out in a world where most of it is not democratic, or democracies, or full democracies at least. So what we did was that we got everyone involved in the question, and we started to discuss different scenarios. If you have CCTVs and you want to, you want to survey a cannabis company in Canada, that's of course totally okay. But if you do the same in Singapore, that's like death sentence. So acknowledging that this is not a like black and white, there are no yeses and nos, etc. But there you need to have the discussion, and as a company, you probably need to have like a code of conduct or something like that to help the employees know how to tackle these questions. And also, sometimes we have been discussing, how China has their system of surveillance. And I mean, the challenge there is really real, right? Yeah. This is already happening. So what could we do? How could we get involved in this and perhaps, create the same possibilities as China is having now with all of the connected surveillance, but make sure that it doesn't end up in one person's or one government, or just split the information in between different companies or different governments, so that no one has this total view that the Chinese system has. So how could Europe stand up and be a strong voice when it comes to implementing tech in a way that would just have different different ideas on where the tech should be and what it should help us with.
I mean, it feels like there's this kind of race going on out there. There's the, there's the China has their tech, and then you have the US, and I mean, and the irony is that everybody's sort of, China is a big bad wolf. However, the ones that have been caught so far are the Americans, because which is the kind of the irony of the world. And then of course we have Europe in the middle, where we're trying to say we need a voice as well. I mean, is there any, in your experience, is there any sort of even, is there a level above that? And I'm not talking about what's it called, the conspiracy theorists, Bill Gates ruling the world kind of thing. I'm talking about, is there any kind of international layer what is at least trying to find some sort of or is there just a race?
Well, from my understanding, first, the race, important to note, is that the race currently is on tech, right? Yeah. It's like who can be first, who can take market shares. It's tech and business at the moment. But this race, the technical difficulties that we have will very soon be ethical difficulties. Yeah. Because when the tech becomes better and better at deciding for us, everyone who has been doing some kind of research in this field knows that humans tend to trust the system, unfortunately. So if we have a great AI system saying this should happen or that should happen, people, they follow the computer, which is scary but true. So the tech race will become an ethical discussion very, very soon, or if it's like not already. And then, on a European level, from my understanding, I mean, I love GDPR for this reason, for it to be something that the EU has, decided to give to the citizens in order to protect our data.
Yeah.
And I know of how the EU are, they're trying at least to make the best out of the situation that we have. And I try to follow World Economic Forum, and I try to follow what's going on the EU level to kind of see like where are we headed in this. And I can see some nice cooperations, especially in the European Union, actually, where, as I said, I'm hoping for the European Union or the European people to get more of a, I don't know, a singular, and maybe, of one voice, just like Asia or China or the US, European voice, because we don't today.
I mean, that's the trouble with Europe in general. I mean, we're so fragmented. I mean, like, I don't know how many countries and languages and currencies we still have. And it's like, okay, but
then we have Brexit, so.
Oh yeah, exactly. And all the others that are now looking at that. But anyway, coming back to the actual, the AI thing again. I mean, I know that you talk a lot about trends and possibilities, and I know one thing that you've said is, your future colleague is an AI and things like that. I mean, if we just on that note, I mean, give us some examples of how you see a possible future when it comes to us working with the machines, or them working with us, or
there is a study,
or us working for them.
Exactly. I think all three of them are possible. So there is a study from the University in London from 2018 which described this the best way that I have ever read, and it was that humans and AIs will work side by side. So if you imagine that you have a thingy or something, let's take this one. This is now my AI, and I work with this one every day. And I post my questions to it. If I am a researcher, for example, I can ask it to read everything that is possible to read within one field. And when you are done, dear AI, please give me 5 things that you think that I should research on that has not yet been researched. And then I get 5 examples from this one just by talking to it. And then in the end, I am as a human, I need to choose. I need to do the human context choosing from what the AI has given me as input. So I think that we will work side by side with AI and have it as a, the super smart version of yourself. So
you mean I can finally come across as smart?
Yes. I actually came across as quite smart the other month, because I had an AI read through some legal documents. We were about to sign this huge deal with a software company, and I knew that the legal department would look at the terms and conditions. And I had an AI look at it and ask the AI to give me, like, what are the top issues with this legal agreement. And it came across with, 5-6 bullet points. So I sent this away to legal department, and I said, oh, by the way, I think you should look at that and that clause, because
beautiful. But let me add on that, or counter that by, I'm doing a slight historical thing here. When it came from, when we were moving from Alta Vista search, and we moved into Google search, there was actually quite a big debate, because Alta Vista search was, it was just a list of results, a catalog. And then Google said, we'll give you the best result. And their best result was based on how many people had accessed the page. So there was a relevance in the results, right? Yeah. And then there was a debate going on there saying that, but that's not, you're not actually showing us the truth. You're showing us what people consider to be the truth. So that can be, so that was, but that debate, of course, disappeared because people were happier with the Google results. So that disappeared completely. What you just said now, it's going to give me the, it's going to give me the 5. You said 5 things there, and I get to decide. But do you think that people will stop thinking for themselves and just let the algorithm then also pick, the best one?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not so sure, actually, because, this was one of the, back when you could go to conferences, I listened to people from the large, just the large consultancy firms. And they said that this is probably a future occupation, that you are a choose consultant. So you are good at looking at what what variables and what stakeholders and what is on the table here, what are the risks, what are et cetera, and that this will be like a profession in its own. But as you say, maybe that profession will also just disappear because not necessary.
Yeah.
But I wrote a blog post long time ago that I think is really fun or odd, that we just accept that whatever Google Home is telling us is like the truth.
Yeah.
And whatever, it's fine as long as it's like what week number is it, or what day is it? That's fine. That's like facts. But I was thinking, when do we start to say that the next phone that I get, when do I get to say in what way I want the answers? Yeah. Like, okay, I'm a Western European person who believes I'm quite liberal and I am a female and so please give me answers that are, because if I have a personal problem, I go to some people. If I have something that I want to hear that, oh yes, that's a great idea, I go to other people, right? So we go to different peers in our lives depending on the question or the topic, but we trust on these. It's fine as long as it's only facts. But I think we're like way beyond the point where it was only facts. Now we're using it for more.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you upload your filter bubble to the machine before you actually ask the question. Yeah, that's super interesting.
I mean, at least it's something that that you have done, so you know where the answers come from. Because today we just accept that they are from Google or from Apple or whoever.
But the concept of choice and the concept of the concept of having an opinion is interesting when it comes to us, because we keep on saying that, but the machines will take over all the repetitive tasks and all of the jobs that are only about reading a book and answering what it says there. They'll be gone, and then we will be doing the the choosing and the emotional part. However. I'm not trying to be dystopian here. I'm just saying that we've already left that behind when it comes to search, because nobody wants to sift through a million catalog results. So just say, Google will give me the best one. That's perfect. And they trust that. And the same thing goes for if I had a bad example. If I had an app that provided me with what to wear, there's your wardrobe for today. Yeah. Based on whatever weather and then of course, as you said, my interests and maybe also where I am going and what is socially accepted there. And then the magic question, do I look fat in this?
Yeah, exactly. It will help you. It will help you.
We're getting lots of questions here. And both Martin and Ali, I promise I'll get back to you. But let's start with this one from Ali here. How is the perception of AI in society or business compared to its actual current state? Because
valid question, very valid question. I mean, I find it very interesting in the paradox for AI that AI is really all around us. So soon a few examples, but it's all around us. But as soon as we give it something to do, we normally take away the name AI from what it's doing. So we're describing it as the Facebook algorithm or the e-commerce that helps you with shopping examples, etc. So we never stop asking what is really AI, because as soon as AI gets an application form or format that it's really being used, we stop calling it AI. So we have AI all around us. Those were two silly examples, but there are also AI in banks where they try to find patterns for money laundering and more important stuff than e-commerce shopping. But so AI is all around us already, but we don't see it and we don't acknowledge it because we don't call it AI. So AI is that's a paradox for the letters AI. They will always be like, what is it? What should we use it for? Yeah. But relevant questions, and because I in our everyday workplace, probably the AI we have is those that are coming with using Microsoft something or Google something or the big platforms. Not so much, I would say, our own, like normally not so much in the like normal business. Coming from CCTV world, of course, there is AI in the software that we produce. To, for example, understand what's in an image or understand, what the camera is seeing, etc.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a gap there between.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
And a problem normally when companies ask like, what should we do with the AI? AI is an innovative technology, right? So they throw the AI to the innovation team or the innovation lab or the innovation here and there. Okay.
Yeah.
But really, what you probably should use AI for the first time is one process in your company that is so well defined. And you know exactly what to do. And you've been doing that forever. So almost a monkey could do it, because there you can use the AI for it.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you also do the misconception that this is cool technology. Let's give it to the cool people over there in the innovation lab. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you're talking. I mean, this is automation and digitalization, and that whole thing. I mean, it's not different things. So we have automation over here, and then digitalization over here. Oh, we have an AI here as well. I mean, it's
yeah. It's the same. Really, it's about business development. I mean, nowadays the tools for business development are digital.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. It's only business development. It's nothing. It's no woo-woo thing.
That was actually really good. That's good. I'll use that one. I'll use that one.
Yes,
Martin Eriksson is asking questions. Martin, you wrote a very, very long question. Could you break it down so we can see the second question as well? But the first one is, how do you think AI, ML, and RPA will change the corporate finance jobs, not the traders or investment bankers, in the next 5 to 10 years? Corporate finance jobs.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't want to give predictions, but I can give you two things. I can give you one URL that is will a robot take my job.com.
All right.
Will a robot take my job.com. You will have the answer, Martin. And the second is World Economic Forum did this, that from 2022, they think that AI and automation in general will take about 75 million jobs on an annual basis worldwide and create 133 million jobs worldwide. So we need to reskill, right? Because if you're sitting doing things in your ordinary life where you feel like I'm being repetitive here now, then probably yes, that will be replaced sooner or later. So, and I think we all have a very interesting and very, I don't know, on a personal level, both difficult and interesting, and on a societal level, like really tough discussion on how to retrain people and reskill ourselves in the pace that is needed.
Yeah.
And of course, the people that are doing the job now that can be automated won't be the people that can, sit and program the next AI. So how to tackle that gap? So I would say to anyone, just get involved. We're coming to that later. But
I know that. But
wait. Yeah.
But and on that note, I mean, I wrote a post on that yesterday. My AI post yesterday was on that note that, it's, so yes, the displacements of jobs is moving maybe faster today than when Spinning Jenny took the spinners' jobs.
Yeah.
But I mean, 20 years ago, nobody thought there would be a job called YouTuber or a social media influencer.
Yeah.
So I mean, completely, we just need to figure, but the gap of the reskilling, of course, is a hard nut to crack.
Absolutely.
One more question, and that actually, this is a good question from Martin, which we'll come back to. It's the ending here. What advice would you give to people who are not necessarily directly involved in engineering and lack the technical skills, but still want to be kept in the loop and stay competitive in, I'm guessing, into the AI thing?
Again, the things that you and I have been discussing so far, none of them have been technical, right? It's been about how to handle it, how to make sure we use it the best way, where to fit it into our business. So if you are by any chance working in a position where you have the possibility to do business development of your own day or your own department, or depending on where you are in your organization, you probably could, do something in order to just go online and find what can be done in my area and either suggest it or decide it, depending on where you are in the hierarchy. Yeah. And I would love to give everyone, I'm totally amazed with the AI that is coming from one of Elon Musk's companies called OpenAI. There's an AI called GPT-3 AI.
Yes.
GPT-3 AI. It's a stupid name, but just go online, Google it, and Google for examples of what GPT-3 3 AI can do for you, and you will be blown away. I'm saying you can use it as your next employee if you are an accountant, or you can use it to write your marketing text if you're in marketing. Or I even asked it once for advice before going into a difficult conversation with one of my employees. I didn't know how to handle the conversation, and I asked for advice on a specific question, and I got super tips on this is how people work with low self-esteem. And I was just like, wow, thanks.
Well, if we're getting Ali, this Fika needs to be more than 30 minutes. I agree, Ali. We could probably spend the rest of the day talking about this. And bouncing on that, and bouncing back to Monday when we had the TEDx event here at KTH, one thing we asked people, and that goes back to what you were answering to Martin's question, because one question we asked the audience there was, how much do you feel that you need to know about the inner workings of an AI that you're using? I mean, like if you're driving a car, most people don't know how the actual engine works, right? You just get in the car, you start the engine, and you drive off. And you can be a really good driver without knowing how to build an engine.
Yeah.
And I'd say that what you said there as well to Martin Eriksson's question, if you're a good business developer, and if you're and you said a choice consultant, if you're if you have an ethical compass or whatever, I mean, there's tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff out there. Here we go. Thank you for the stream and all the various insights and perspectives. Much appreciated. GPT-3 is definitely credible. Yeah, I couldn't even pronounce it myself.
Yeah, I know. It's who named it? Who named it?
Yeah, but Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Of course.
I know. The thing is, we're actually getting close to 3 o'clock. We were talking about this before we started that this half hour. It just swoosh. But we won't leave people without the normal top 3 tips. I'll take away the question banner there, and we'll come back to this because Liselott will, as everyone else of my guests, they leave us with 3 tips. So the 3 tips from you. The number 1 tip is get involved and explain that. Please.
Get involved on the positive side. So again, if we go back to the discussion that the technology can be used for good and bad, as we kind of discussed earlier, and we need people in the tech here for the usage of the tech that are what we believe on the good side. So we need ourselves and our friends and our families to actually use the technologies in your own business, in your own everyday life, because we don't want to be overridden by, because all tech is driven by the bad guys, right? It's porn, it's drugs, and it's weapons. Those are always the one using the new technology first. So, and that's they've already been here long ago, so that's fine. But now we need to step in to make sure that we get good examples and that we know something about this, so that we don't get left behind when the big dragons are coming with their technology. So just get involved and be on the positive side of the technology exploration going forward.
And actually, no matter what your skill set is today, you have a place.
Absolutely.
In it as well. Yeah. Tip number 2: start scenario planning.
Yeah, scenario planning is a really good way to get started in this. So instead of just sitting like people used to do in marketing a few years ago, they sat like, oh, there's something called Facebook. What should I do with it? Now people are sitting like, oh, there's something called AI. What should I do with it? No. Just back up. And if you do scenario planning, you do like, okay, so this is a possible future for our company. This is also a possible future, and that is a possible future, and this is a possible future. Now, what if those happens, or one of them, or 2 of them? What does it mean? What do we need to do today to prepare ourselves? So scenario planning is really fun. You know that you are wrong. When you do scenario planning, you're wrong, but you get your mind started and you easily see patterns on where you are headed later. So scenario planning is a great way to start and to find, where should we start?
Fantastic. That's really, I mean, we could spend another 2 days talking about that. But tip number 3 from Liselott on the whole topic of AI and the future is, of course, act now.
Absolutely. There is also, if we should say something positive about China today, they have this old proverb saying that the best timing of planting a tree was 50 years ago. Yeah. And the next best is now. So if you haven't gotten started, if you are still leaning back and not leaning forward into this discussion, then now is the time to stop leaning back and start leaning forward.
Yeah, and don't wait for it. I mean, there's nothing to wait for. It's just get in there and go to lading.se and read more about Liselott. Liselott, thank you so much for being on my very coffee break today. This was great fun.
Really enjoyed
this very fast-paced half an hour. Probably could have lots of topics to add to this, but anyway, great first meeting with you here online as well. Everybody, Liselott Lading, Futurist, public speaker. Check her out on lading.se. Thank you for today, everyone. Thank you for asking questions. I will see you all next week again. Liselott, bye for now.
Bye.